As we saw last night, the Oklahoma City Thunder picked up a big-time win, most likely a season-saving win against the Portland Trail Blazers in Game 3 of the first-round playoff matchup. They got that 3 versus 6. That's been oh so entertaining. Now, don't get caught up in the side storylines, or maybe you look at this as the main storyline. Obviously, we got Damian Lillard versus Russell Westbrook. It's been fantastic through 3 games. The back and forth chatter, the banter, the shot making. It's been incredible, right? To me, as great as that's been, I've been noticing something else. My eyes have been focused on someone else, more specifically. I've been watching Paul George play. And if you look at his stats, his points per game are not too far off from his season average in this series. He's put up 22 points, 27 points, and 26 points. But if you just focus in and watch the games, and then occasionally look at Paul George's field goal percentage, he has not been great. Last night against the Portland Trail Blazers, specifically PG-13, was 3 for 16 from the field. Is that good? Nah, it's not good. Now, in Game 2, PG was pretty good. He was 11 for 20 from the field. But if you actually watch the game, those 27 points could be a tad bit misleading. Some were late when the game was already decided. If you're watching the game, the point I'm trying to make, Paul George has not been his usual self. And if you've actually been watching the Oklahoma City Thunder play for the last few months now, PG has not been his normal self. I believe Paul George is in dire need of surgery. I was watching Tracy McGrady on ESPN's The Jump the other day. Salute to T-Mac, one of the NBA's greatest scorers we've ever seen. And he discussed seeing a lot of himself when he watches Paul George play over the last few months. I'd say right around February is when I noticed the shift in Paul George's game. He said Paul George looks like him in one of the years he was playing with a torn labrum, and he believes Paul George needs surgery. Let me just say, I reiterate those same sentiments. I think Paul George is in dire need of surgery, but he doesn't want to do it because, let's go back last summer, Paul George had a big time decision to make. Do you stay in Oklahoma City, or do you go to Los Angeles, play with LeBron James, or maybe go to another team? He chose to stay in Oklahoma City. Not only did he stay, he signed a 4-year deal. He's committed for the next 4 years in Oklahoma City. And obviously he doesn't have a lot of time to waste. And it would look bad in year 1 if PG decided to sit out the remainder of the postseason because he needs surgery. His shot is not right. He's just chucking up 3-pointers. He can still drive and get to the rim, but he's not doing it as much as we've seen PG do it in the past. In the past, when Paul George's jumper's not falling, he gets it and just starts going to the rim. If you watched him over the last couple months, he's getting up 11, 12, 14 3-pointers a game because I think his shoulders are in pain, both of them. Now, I know for a fact the left one's been wrapped for quite some time. Now the right one is wrapped. I think the brother's in dire need of surgery, and his pride won't allow him, and that competitive nature in him won't allow him to sit out. But it's hurting that Oklahoma City Thunder team. See, over the last few months, Russell Westbrook's been the storyline. Even with the NBA players doing that random poll and saying Russell Westbrook was the most overrated player in the NBA. And from Russ struggling from the field. Look, Russ has been struggling from the field if you watch the Thunder play at all this season, pretty much all year. But the Thunder were still winning games. They were a 3 or 4 seed for a lot of the season. And Paul George was in the MVP conversation. Nothing has really shifted from Russell Westbrook this season. He hasn't shot the ball well all year. But the Thunder was still winning. How was that so? Paul George, for the first half of the season, was in the MVP conversation. He was third on most people's lists. It was Giannis or James Harden, whatever order you have it in, and PG was right there. He was playing at an all-time great level even for himself. Paul George is going to be first-team All-NBA. He's taking someone's spot, right? He was playing phenomenal basketball, the best basketball of his life. Over the last 2-3 months, he was still really, really good at times, but not that MVP level that we saw for more than half of the season. I believe he's hurt. Really, really hurt. And as soon as the Thunder season ends, whether it's this round or next round, or heck, maybe they continue playing to the Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors, I think as soon as it ends, we'll get an announcement from the Oklahoma City training staff, or maybe Paul George himself, saying, I am undergoing surgery on my shoulders. Maybe one or both. I'm not sure. But he needs it. Anybody with eyes can tell something is wrong with that brother's shot. And he's trying his hardest to play through the pain. Salute and respect to PG. Just hope you don't do any further damage to them shoulders, because you gonna need some surgery and rest this summer whenever you decide to call it quits. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids. You are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now,
Mr.Taliaferro.
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 Mr. Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You're watching Mr.Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV. Here with the Triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.